Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. You can find us on television. You can find us syndicated, actually, on Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And you know what? You can also find us on the newscasters.com. This is where AP, you can find him there as well. We're working and developing on some new avenues for you. Can't tell you yet. I'm dying to, but I've got to wait. Got to keep my mouth shut right now, but I'll let you know as soon as those things develop. I have AP Steadham with me right now. AP, I'm just going to have to tell you, I've missed you the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, Don, it's been something. We've been busy, haven't we?
Yeah, we have that and the flu.
Yeah, been recovering from some illness and things for sure, but it's glad to be back.
Oh, I'm so glad. So we're going to be taking the show still in Alabama, but also taking the show into South Carolina. So we're going to be doing a lot of Clemson and South Carolina. And I'm going to tell you what, those fans are crazy. They're just like Alabama Auburn fans.
They are. They're very rabid fans, faithful. And, you know, Donna, through the years, they always haven't had the best teams. But when you watch their games, the stands are full and they stay to the end.
Oh, you know what? I want to see more of that in Alabama, in Auburn. Their teams can be losing every single game. They're still huge fans. They love their teams.
They do. They love their team. Clemson and South Carolina. They're very loyal. So if you had to pick a state, I don't think there's anybody more loyal than the state of South Carolina and their football teams.
They got it going on. Okay, now a lot of things have happened in the past couple of weeks. Going ahead and pick it. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, Donna, you know, the SEC teams participated in the bowls, and they had a record of just the bowls now, 6-4. And outside the bowls, you know, they had Texas, Georgia, and Tennessee were in the college football playoffs. So Texas was able to beat Clemson from South Carolina and also Arizona State in a couple overtimes. That was a tight ball game. And then Georgia had the bye, and they faced Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl, and they lost in the Sugar Bowl 23-10. And then Tennessee had to travel up to Columbus, Ohio, and they played the Buckeyes, and they lost 42-17. They didn't play very well. So the SEC 6-4 in the bowls, and I just mentioned the playoff outcomes as well. But so there's still Texas is left in the college football playoff. They'll be competing in the Cotton Bowl. They're going back to Texas. I know those Texas fans are really happy, super happy to be facing Ohio State, which I think Ohio State might be the best team left in the college football playoff. The other two teams will play in the Orange Bowl. That's Penn State out of the Big Ten and Notre Dame, which is an independent, and they'll be playing in the Orange Bowl. I think they've only played about 20 times in their history, and I think they're something like maybe 9-9 and a couple of ties or something like that, but it's not very many times. Maybe it was 19 times, yeah. So that'll be a good game. And Ohio State and Texas, I think they've played 3 times. Texas has won 2. Ohio State has been successful once. So big ball games coming up this Thursday and Friday in the Cotton Bowl, which is on Friday. I'll be covering that game. I'll be in Dallas. And then the Orange Bowl on Thursday evening, Penn State and Notre Dame. So 2 cold weather teams get to go south and play in some nice weather.
I've got to say this, AP. You pretty much well predicted what was going to happen. I know it's been sporadic all season. It's been crazy. Yes. But you pretty much, you had Ohio State up there at the top.
Yeah, Ohio State, down they have an excellent roster. You know, with that transfer portal, they were able to lure some players with the NIL deals. Matter of fact, a couple of them from the SEC. They had Seth McLaughlin, the center. He came from Alabama. He was injured. He's out now. They had Quinshawn Judkins. He was the All-SEC running back 2 years in a row from Ole Miss. He's from Pike Road in Alabama. They had Caleb Downs, who was the All-American freshman at Alabama. He's a safety. So those are 3 players just from the SEC alone that they lured up to Columbus, Ohio, and they've been very successful. So Ohio State right now, they're playing fast and loose. They have a very good quarterback, Will Howard, transfer from Kansas State. They have an exceptional freshman wide receiver, Jeremiah Smith. Big receiver, 6'3", 4, very difficult to guard because, Donna, he could stab the ball in the air. Just get it near him, and he leaps up into the sky and grabs it. He's very talented, and I think he's one of the best receivers in the country, if not the best, and he's only a freshman.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about this past season. What have been some of the big time, the things you'll just never forget?
Yeah, I think the fact that you have to consider Vanderbilt beating Alabama, putting 40 points in Alabama. I mean, they hadn't beaten them in 40 years. Vanderbilt had 0 wins in the conference. They ended up bowl eligible, and they were successful in their bowl. They played in the Birmingham Bowl, beat Georgia Tech 35-27. That Diego Pavia, the transfer quarterback from Mexico State, he was the difference maker for them. He was the difference maker for them, Donna. Like I said, not overwhelming physically and statistically. He doesn't, it's not impressive, but he is impressive in the win column. He knows how to get his team to win on game day. So I'd say Vanderbilt, I don't think we're ever going to forget Vanderbilt this season, what they did to not only become bowl eligible, but win the bowl and beat Alabama. They took Texas to a 3-point game in Nashville, double overtime. They took Missouri. They beat Auburn by double digits down at Auburn. So they had some monumental ball games. And then I think the fact that there was teams at the top in the SEC losing, more than in the past. You had Georgia losing by 18 at Ole Miss. You had Alabama losing to Vanderbilt. You had them losing at Tennessee, which is a rival game, no problem. That was a 1-touchdown game or so. But to lose to Oklahoma had only won 1 game in the conference, Donna. And Alabama was a double-digit favorite on the road, and it was near the end of the season, second to the last game. And Alabama needed the game to get in the college football playoff. And they couldn't score but just 3 points. I think that's memorable. You had Tennessee come back and make the playoffs. Tennessee made the playoffs. Okay, successful season. Didn't fare well. And versus Ohio State, as we said, lost 42-17. Did not really compete that night up in Columbus. Then you had Ole Miss had a chance at the end, just like Alabama. They had to beat Florida on the road. They couldn't do it. Ole Miss lost to Kentucky earlier in the season at Oxford, a game I covered. And Kentucky had 1 win, Don. 1 win this season against a Power 4 team, and it was against Ole Miss. Really kept them out of the playoffs. Ole Miss, they had nobody to blame but themselves. They had 3 losses, and they even had the double, 2 or 3 chances. You had a couple of losses moving into that Florida game, and all you had to do was win against Florida. Couldn't do it. So there's another SEC team that couldn't make it. South Carolina had a nice season. Okay. South Carolina did have a very good season. They got beat in the bowl game by Illinois, close ball game, 21-17. But I think the people in South Carolina overall were happy with the fact that their team competed and ended up being ranked and having a good season. So, and then Texas, first time in the conference, they made the playoffs. They're in the semifinals now. So I think they're happy at this moment. Georgia made the playoffs again. Didn't win against Notre Dame, but they made the playoffs. So I think those are some of the memorable moments for these teams in the SEC. And then we had some teams really falter. Mississippi State with a new coach. They're trying to rebuild from the ground up. Arkansas probably wanted more wins. Missouri won their bowl game. They had a nice season, but they could have done better. I think they underachieved to some degree. Missouri did. Texas A&M had a chance at the end to beat Texas to get into the SEC championship, but they lost. And then they lost their bowl game to USC in the Las Vegas Bowl, which I covered that game, matter of fact. The other teams, you had Florida, I think was a surprise, Donna, because they had the most difficult schedule. It had to be one of the most difficult schedules in the country. And they ended up with a winning season, won their bowl game against Tulane. So they upset some people along the way with that very difficult schedule. I'm trying to think of, Kentucky was disappointing. They beat Ole Miss. That was the highlight of the season down in Oxford. Big win for them. But I think they struggled mightily in offense, and they had a pretty good defense, but they just got worn out by being on the field too many times. And then Auburn, they struggled offensively. So they're trying to revive that program with better players. And we'll see what happens with Hugh Freeze and company moving down the road.
Let's talk a little bit about the players themselves. Who really came out of the kinks who came from way back and really made a name for themselves this year.
Yeah, I think that Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt to be a transfer from Mexico State. And just, I mean, he created havoc every week. You play in Vanderbilt. You're thinking, well, we're going to win this game. But my goodness, he took all these teams right to the wire, beat Alabama, put 40 points on him. There was an interception there too as well. But I think Diego Pavia had to be one of those players when you're looking at the SEC as a transfer. He really stood out to me. I think that Nico Iamaleava, the quarterback of Tennessee, I thought he would play better, John. But, he's very athletic and talented, but I still think his passing game is not up to par with his accuracy. And that matters the most when you're reviewing a quarterback in my mind. Are they accurate? Are they an accurate thrower? I don't know if that's going to happen for him, but he's going to have his chance. Jalen Milroe with Alabama had his ups and downs. A lot of turnovers this year contributed to their losses. So I think they were disappointed with the way he performed overall. Quinn Ewers at Texas, he survived the season. Arch Manning came off the bench a few times, but he's still healthy, so he's leading his team in the college football playoff. Georgia's quarterback Carson Beck got hurt, and so he couldn't participate in the college football playoff. But those are some of the players I think that caught my attention. It's always the quarterbacks, Donna, because they're the leader of the team, and it's a quarterback-centric era of football at every level.
Totally agree with you. You know what? We've already got to go into a commercial break. We'll be right back in just a minute. Everybody hang in there. We'll be right back.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462.
I'm excited to announce our Christmas extravaganza is finally here. Get this season's flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. They won't last long, so get them while you can. Our famous My Slippers, they haven't been on sale for over a year. Regularly $119.98, now only $59.98. Our 6-piece towel sets are back in stock with extremely limited quantities, only $29.98. With hundreds of MyPillow products, there's something for everyone on your Christmas list. Bathrobes, duvets, quilts, down comforters, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save on all MyPillow products. For example, flannel sheets for as low as $59.98, or our 6-piece towel sets, just $29.98. But that's not all. I'm extending our 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st of 2025. Plus, all orders over $75 or more ship absolutely free.
Good afternoon. We're back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. I've got AP Steadham with me. He's been with us for a number of years and really proud of every show we get to capture with AP. I know he's really, really busy, so I appreciate you hanging with us. Now, you are also found on the Newscasters as well. You have a YouTube channel, so AP as we see it. How can folks find you?
Yeah, Donna, you're correct. The Newscasters were on that channel as well. Due to your reference, you're referring us there. And then my YouTube channel is at AP Steadham, and then at AP as we see it. We broadcast every week. We didn't have a show last week due to the nature of the schedule of the games. They fell on that Wednesday and everything. So we'll be back up and running this week, and we'll be discussing those playoff games, Texas versus Ohio State, the Cotton Bowl, and Penn State versus Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl. So you can catch us there on those YouTube channels and our social media platforms, the X account, Facebook, Instagram, and also on Spotify as well.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about the transfer portal, just a little bit further discussion, because, you know,
Right.
when they made it easier for people to get divorces 40 years ago, we've had a lot more divorces
Right.
in this country right here. So do you feel like that kind of opens it up? I mean, I'm pretty sure Vanderbilt is going to do whatever they can to make sure they
Yes.
keep their players.
Yeah. All SEC schools, Don, they have the money. Are they willing to spend the money? And then, Don, you have to manage this economically. So, in other words, maybe you slot the quarterback position for a certain amount, and you're not going to go beyond that amount, or you have a running back or wide receiver. So you're managing the money now of the incoming players that are transferring through the NIL, because that's what lures players. Not only the playing time, but it's the name, image, and likeness money that's available for them individually. So you happen to be very smart. So coaches, they've been hiring general managers, which is new to the college game last year or two. In the pros, they have the general manager who is able to function in that capacity with the personnel and the money to balance those things. So college football, Donna, I tell people, look, you may not like the rules, but the person who applies the rules the best is going to be successful. So you can't change the rules. It's a committee type situation where they make these changes, and you're placed in a situation where you're going to have to learn the rule, apply the rule, and move forward. And I know people don't like the transfer rule, but that's the way it is in college athletics.
Before you know it, we'll all be used to it. I mean, changes
Yeah.
happen all the time. So there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
Is there one particular player that you would like to see not divorce his team?
Oh, gee. I would say I'm looking at Tennessee's quarterback, Nico. I mean, he went there with a lot of accolades and supposedly a big NIL number. You'd like to see him stay and compete for Tennessee. I think he will. I don't know. And then Ryan Williams, wide receiver from Alabama. See, the portal was opened on the 9th of December and closed on the 28th of December. So I believe that this is still true in the SEC, Donna. You have that one window where you can transfer within the SEC. Now, there's another transfer portal window in April or May, but I don't think it applies to the SEC within the league. You can transfer out to different schools, but I don't think you can transfer from one SEC school to the other. I don't think.
Yeah, it's almost like this. I know from the old school, but when I've hired employees, sometimes I would be just a little leery about somebody who had hopped from one job to the next. To me, that didn't show stability. So I'm just wondering if that could be a factor with some of the coaches.
Players and coaches, Donna, they've done it in high school. You've seen it happen. A player has been to 2 and 3 high schools, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't know what he's going to do if he comes to the certain university. Is he going to stay? He's going to leave? But nowadays, Donna, it's year by year. So, and coaches are always looking for players, and they realize it's a one-year situation. So I think that's part of the equation now is built in.
Let's talk coaches now. Is there a particular coach, new coach, that you got your eye on, you see a lot of potential with?
Right. I'm thinking with the SEC, there's pretty well a stable of coaches down that have been there, except Jeff Levy at Mississippi State. He's new to the league, as he's an offensive type coach. So he's new. Can he do something at Mississippi State to build up that offense and play complementary football? But all the other coaches, they've been around that conference quite a while. So I think everybody's going to have another year. Clark Lee has got that Vanderbilt team on the move now. So we'll see what happens there with the Commodores. But everybody else has been with their team a number of years. LSU, we didn't mention them. Brian Kelly, I think they had a down year. They were disappointed with having the four losses. They ended up with a bowl win against Baylor. But all these coaches have been established. Coach Elko, A&M, this was his first year. So he had them in a good position. They didn't beat Texas to get in the SEC championship, but he's doing some good things there as well for the Aggies.
Mm-hmm. I think this is probably the first year since you and I broadcast that we've not mentioned that Saban could be leaving.
Right. Yeah.
Right. That we were going on for years.
Right. Kalen DeBoer's there now at Alabama. He's had some good moments, but he had some ups and downs throughout the season. I think I'm waiting for him to get his quarterback, all the people that he would like to have on the roster, and we'll move forward and judge him from there, I believe, Don.
Now, I know we have a lot of things that can play into the answer for this question. Okay,
Right.
So it's a particular team. If they were to be able to keep all their players, coaches,
Right.
what have you, who do you think could be number one next year?
Oh, next year, let's look at the SEC. In the SEC, I think Texas right now has this stability. I think Georgia will have to get a new quarterback, possibly. I don't know if they're going to use Gunnar Stockton again. But I think Texas has the stability. Their program does. Tennessee, Josh Heupel, he should be stable there. I would say also LSU, Brian Kelly, he's trying to get better on the defensive side. He's got his quarterback returning here at Nussmeier. So those are some of the teams I think that will contend. Lane Kiffin, he's got to have a new quarterback. Jackson Dart was there for 3 years as a transfer from USC. So, but I think those teams I mentioned, Texas, LSU, and some others, they're fairly stable. Tennessee, and they'll contend. But Donna, every year with these rosters changing,
Mm-hmm.
I think there's more uncertainty than ever in the preseason trying to determine who will come to the top.
I think so too. But let's talk Alabama Auburn. We got to do that because I've got a lot of emails about them.
Yeah, Auburn's looking to get the right quarterback.
Okay.
Deuce Knight coming in as a freshman, hotshot freshman, left-hander. We'll see if he's able to take command of the position. Maybe not the first couple of games, but maybe midseason. So Auburn's looking to improve. And Alabama, like I said, they're going to have a new quarterback situation. Will it be Ty Simpson, the reserve this year, or Russell, the freshman quarterback out of Texas? He's one of the top quarterbacks in the country. So I think Alabama, people are wondering, how that quarterback situation will pan out.
Okay, and this is a message just to the Alabama Auburn fans that are out there. So right. I'm old enough to remember when Coach Paul Bear Bryant didn't win every single game.
Right.
It's a good thing Alabama didn't get rid of him because look what happened. So folks, let's think about that just a little bit.
Yeah, you have to have a little bit of patience. Like I said, Kalen DeBoer is new at the position for Alabama. We're going to find out what he does with his choice of quarterback and the team moving forward and defensively as well. So hopefully they don't have – I think people want to see more consistency, not the ups and downs that they saw during the season. Okay.
Absolutely. In your opinion, who's the best coach out there, whether it be SEC or anywhere else in the world?
Yeah, I think that Ryan Day from Ohio State, he's a very good coach. He has Chip Kelly as offensive coordinator. That's the New Hampshire gang. Mm-hmm. They're both from New Hampshire down. You wouldn't think of New Hampshire as having good football, but they do.
They do.
They play pretty good football, FCS level. And so Chip Kelly from New Hampshire, Ryan Day, he stumbled against Michigan this year, but he's rallied his team. And I think his team's playing the best overall right now. He's able to acquire talent and the best in the country as well as anybody. So Ryan Day is a young coach. I think he's one of the better ones in this country.
Let's talk Heisman Trophy winners.
Yeah, the Heisman Trophy. Don, I don't think I revealed my vote. I don't think my vote. I had Dylan Gabriel of Oregon, number 1, the quarterback. I had Ashton Genty, the running back from Boise, as number 2, and then I had the quarterback of Indiana, Curtis Rourke. He's from Canada. He was a transfer from Ohio University. Indiana had not won 10 games ever in their history. Not only did they win over 10 games, but they made the college football playoff. Think about that. Of all these big teams, Alabama, LSU, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, all these teams didn't make the playoff. Indiana made the playoffs out of the Big Ten. So that was pretty significant. So that was my Heisman vote.
There you go. Hey, we're going to have to call it a day. What would you like to say before we go?
Hey, yeah, Don, just check out our social media platforms, AP as we see it, on YouTube, Instagram, and I'll be covering the Cotton Bowl, Don. So look for the interviews that I'm going to provide for the Cotton Bowl, Texas, and Ohio State. Then I'll be traveling the following week to Atlanta for the national championship game as well.
There you go. Lots more fun this season, this upcoming season as well. And basketball, anything you can say within a minute?
The SEC is very strong in basketball. We're going to have a lot to talk about this season for SEC basketball.
Well, I'm excited about that. And I know you guys are excited too. Thank you so much for watching Donna's Edge. And it's so good to be with you always. You can find us all over the social media sites. Don't forget the website, donnasedge.com. AP, thank you so much for being with me. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Donna. My pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.